Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus here with a toy review, a Gaogaigar toy review of the first of the symmetrical brothers, HyoRyu and EnRyu, the Ice Dragon and Fire Dragon. These two guys were the first supporting characters to show up in the Gaogaigar TV series back in 1997. They're brother artificial intelligences, and they're designed for rescue operations. They share a similar chassis. They're both this somewhat futuristic vehicular device, and they both have a long thing sticking off the back. That's where they differ at first. HyoRyu here has a crane, which can extend. Oh my god, it's huge! Confidence. And then you can, calm him down. And the front of it also transforms into a sort of ice cannon thing here. And it's also got a cockpit detail over here, which we'll get to later, because it does something very important. His brother, in the meantime, this guy, by the way, the ice one, is of course the cool-headed personality, whereas his brother here is the hothead, despite them otherwise being twins. He's got this thing-madoo on him, and a ladder, because he's a fire truck. And this can also become a water blaster sort of thing. And of course, his ladder also gets very, very confident. See the length on that? Ooh, yeah. Anyway, when these guys first appear, they're stuck in their vehicle modes, but then they muster up the courage and bravery to transform, to system change to robot mode. So, while HyoRyu goes and does that, quietly, I'll display the process on EnRyu because he, he's hot-headed. He likes the spotlight. So you remove this thing, and that's actually a difference from his transformation scheme over HyoRyu, because he has that little thing-madoo to remove. You just extend these parts out. Here's a cool detail that I haven't seen done actually since these toys. Those things, the light bars, flip up and become knee pads with detailing underneath. So, there's something. And that's actually something that was done with stickers I don't think you could really do as well with paint apps. So, gratz, Gaogaigar toy line. He's got this panel here that hides a button. Now this button is something you depress. You can use it to extend this, but you only do that for a certain mode that I'll tell you about later in this video. You gotta clearance some room up here. Open up the arms. This is all, by the way, pretty much exactly how he transforms in the show, in the stock footage. It's really nicely done, and very toy accurate, but without looking like he's a giant toy. So that's a huge plus of the Gaogaigar TV series, is the massive budget it had for a weekly, toy commercial. So here you do the epic head reveal, and what all the symmetrical brothers in Gaogaigar have is a little symbol on their forehead. His is a flame, and his brother has a snowflake. I admit, I'd go for the flame myself. And then this back part you just kind of have hanging off the side here. He can, in the show where he's more posable, he can wing it up and around and use it as a long-range rifle and stuff like that. Oh, and he also has this shield here to protect himself from fire. Oh, they also have a compartment in their leg containing what appears to be a simple block of technology. Now it's a gun! And that's his melting pistol. So, EnRyu here is ready for action. Him and HyoRyu are usually shot into the battlefield through the mirror catapult later in the series, and EnRyu will constantly, of course, crash land because he's hot-headed and thus has no sense of balance. Don't ask me. Meanwhile, his brother's been off doing something, so let's just wait for him to get back. The Rescue Brothers stand united. HyoRyu is pretty much the same toy, as you can see here. They're both a fairly posable body for 1997, lots of ratchety joints all around. The only major posability they're lacking is the ability to spread their legs. They can only really do it like this, but you know how I am. I need a toy. I need a robot that can really spread its legs wide open. They also have this gimmick from the show, which is really not used all that often, actually, where you can turn this dial and raise their level up from yellow to blue. Or in the case of EnRyu, you can raise it up from yellow to red. No, yellow to pink, but, you know, it takes a real man to wear pink. So, I hope you can actually see that happen there. It's pretty much just printed paper on that little grate on his chest. They don't have opening chests, so you can't replicate stuff like the chest thriller or the level infinity supernova from Final, but small loss, 1997. I continue making excuses. Here's the snowflake, by the way, on his forehead, and a really nice head sculpt, actually. It's, again, very show accurate, which is a surprise for 1997. And these guys impressed me quite a bit, but that's not, you know, the crux of it. Like, they can, you know, they can fight, they can save people, they can have their thing come over their head and shoot the camera, but these guys really shine when their brave hearts unite, and their Simpa rate goes up to 100%, and they commence symmetrical docking. Now, the way you symmetrical dock them is kind of like, you take accessories, and you connect the legs, like, this is totally not epic enough. Symmetrical docking! This is ChoRyuJin. This is the first symmetrical combiner, or as they call it, symmetrical docker. He's a really cool design. I really like the symmetrical docker design. The only problem is, and I'll get this right out of the way, here's his posability. He can look left and right. He can wave his arms. He can bend his elbows. And he can swivel his entire legs. That is it! There was no room on this toy to engineer in any joints whatsoever, and to be perfectly honest, I have no idea how they would do at least the shoulder joints. I could see how you could fit knees in and maybe hips, but working shoulder joints on this design is something that escapes me, and it's something that I had hoped CM's Corp or Studio Halfeye would, you know, figure out, but they never got to the symmetrical dockers. They just, all those companies spent all their time on every iteration of Gaogaigar, and I don't mind that, but the other Gaogaigar designs really did also deserve some modern engineering love, and they didn't get it. ChoRyuJin is a fairly huge toy, as I said before. He's extremely solid. He's, at least 10 inches or 11 inches tall. I actually haven't measured him, and that would be far too much forethought, you know, for this review to actually do that beforehand. He's got a little rocket booster sculpted in the bottom there. He's got these two enormous tonfas, or double rifles. It really depends how you aim them. And he can also remove them and peg them into his hands, although doing so doesn't do that much, unfortunately. It's very show accurate, but all he can really do is, I mean, it is kind of scary from your vantage point there to see this huge robot come in winging this enormous thing at you. But that's pretty much the gist of ChoRyuJin. I would recommend him, at least for the individual modes, for HyoRyu and EnRyu, because they're really nice toys. And the combined mode is more icing on the cake in this this example. Overall, for 1997, he's good. If you're going to compare him to modern engineering, he is lacking a little bit. Even the individual robots are in terms of their leg posability. But really, I would recommend this, especially if you're into the show, because ChoRyuJin and HyoRyu and EnRyu are such staples of the Gaogaigar story that it would be a shame not to have them. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, bringing you another epic brave review. Or at least epic in my own mind, because I'm hearing all the sound effects and music, and, well, really, you guys should all just commit every soundtrack to memory, too. I mean, it's obvious. Anyway, I'll be back with another review soon, so stay tuned, and stay true to the Oath of Bravery! Someone ain't respecting the Oath of Bravery. Someone's gonna get tonfered! I have toys.